Hi everyone, it's Eric Vanderwall here for Drupal for Anyone. We've had a little request, so we're going to go through a tutorial for that request. So in part one of this tutorial, we looked at creating the blog content type. We gave it a title, a body, tags, image, and we even managed to place them around on the screen in a fairly good looking way. What we want to do next is create a blog list, and to do this we're going to use the views module. And we're just going to do it a nice, quick and easy way. We're not going to delve too deeply into it, but we just want to get our blog up and running. So to do that, we want about 10 posts per page. We want to have a menu entry, and we want our posts to be of just a teaser or summary. So we're back on DrupalForAnyone.com, and I already have the views module installed. This is the views project page on Drupal, www.drupal.org/project/views. Now what I'm using here is the views 7x3 1.0. You can use whichever one here is the newest release. And jump back to the module page on my site, and we already have views installed and enabled. And it does have some dependencies, so make sure that you have ctools also installed. Okay, so once that's all done, you're going to go Structure, Views, and we're going to add a new view to our site. What I'm going to call this view is just simply Blog. Just want it to be a blog view. And what I want it to show is content. The content I want it to show is of which type? Well, we created a basic blog entry type. We don't need it to be tagged with anything specific. We want all of our blog entries, but we do want it to be sorted by the newest first, meaning the newest to the top. Okay, so the page title we could call whatever this is. So I'm going to call it Drupal for Anyone blog. We can set a path. I'm just going to leave it as blog. It's nice and simple. It's easy to guess, so people could potentially find it easier. The type of formatting we want, we're just going to leave this as an unformatted list. And I want it to be of teasers only. So if you have commenting, you can set whether it shows your commenting and whether it links to your comments. So mine doesn't link to any comments, so I'm just going to set without. The number of items to display, I just want 10 per page. If anything more than 10 per page, they have to use the forwards or backwards, next, or previous. I also want to create a menu link. I want this to go to my main menu, which is my top menu, and I'm just going to call it blog. No problem. So when we've done all that, we're just going to click Save and Exit. And there we go. So now if we look at our top menu here, we've got Home, Courses, Tutorials, Contact, and the newest one is Blog. So under Blog, we have the first blog post right here. Now you might notice right away on yours, if you do this, there's no image. The image does not show up. Well, if we do want the image to show up, then we need to adjust the teaser or adjust the summary of this because it's displaying the teaser, not the whole post. To do that, I'm going to choose Structure, Content Types, Blog Entry. Now from the blog entry, again, we're going to manage the display. But instead of managing the default, which is the whole page, we're going to manage the teaser. So we can see here that we have the body being displayed, but the tags in the image is hidden. So for me, I want this image displayed, so I'm going to bring it up above the body, turn off the label, and also don't forget to change the size of this. I don't want a huge image every time, or a tiny image. So I'm going to again choose the medium size. This time I'm not going to have it linked to nothing. I want it to link to the content, meaning if someone clicks on this image, I want it to bring them to the actual blog post. So I'm going to choose Link to Content and Update. Now we can save this. Then I'm going to go back to the blog itself. So I'm just going to go to my home page and then choose Blog. And now we can see on our blog post here, in our blog view, the image shows up. And if we click on it, it will bring us to the actual post. Now, one last tip for you. If you're not crazy about this image size, we can in fact change that. In order to do that, we're going to go to Configuration, choose Media, and then choose Image Styles. From here, we already have 3 default styles set up by Drupal when we install it: 100 by 100, 220 by 220, and 480 by 480. So I'm going to add one more style here. We can add a name to the style. I'm going to have this as blog post main image. I know it's a real long title, but it does describe what it is. I want this to scale and crop, for example. Maybe I want the image to be an exact size, a specific size. So I'm going to add that. I want my image to be exactly, say, 300 wide by 200 tall. We can add this effect. And that's it. Now it's done. So if we look back at our image styles, we can see we have our thumbnail, our medium, our large, which is the default, and now our new one called blog post main image. So you can set this up to be whatever size you want. Now how do we get this to display? What we do is, again, we have to go back to our structure, content types, blog entry, and then we're going to manage the display again. So now when we look at our blog image, we can in fact change the image style again by clicking on the cog. And we have a new image style here called blog post main image. So I'm going to update this and save it. Now when I go back to my home page, choose my blog, and look at the actual blog post, we can see the image is now larger and a different size. It's exactly the size that we set. So this way you can control the size of your image. This is really great if you have a bunch of different people working on your blog. You can keep the images nice and consistently sized, and everything will always come out looking the same. So that is DrupalForAnyone.com's quick and easy blog, an introduction to working with custom content types. Of course, we went over how to use views a little bit there and manage some displays. Again, if you want to use our example CSS that we have used here, make sure that you name your field image blog image, and you can copy this CSS off our website, www.DrupalForAnyone.com.